On your Brightspace content section, under the recrystallization folder, you will see all of the documents for our class discussion today. During recrystallization, you will dissolve your impure solid in a solvent from which it will recrystallize out as a pure compound. But that solvent has to fulfill all of these 4 requirements before we can actually use it for our recrystallization. It should not dissolve or react with the compound at low temperatures. So the solubility of the compound in that solvent at low temperatures, which usually is around 20 degrees Celsius, should be absent. However, that solvent should have high solubility at a higher temperature, which is usually about 70 to 80 degrees. Moreover, that solvent should have a decent boiling point, which can range anywhere between 60 degrees or to about 150 degrees Celsius. If you look at this particular set of questions that I have prepared, let's look which of the solvents below would be the best for recrystallizing a compound named A. Now, in this column, I have labeled solvents P, Q, R, S, T. And in these columns, I have labeled what is the solubility of compound A for every 100 gram of the solvent at 20 degrees Celsius and at 70 degrees Celsius. What is its boiling point? Now, while we are going to look at this data and we are going to decide out of P, Q, R, S, and T, which is going to be the best possible solvent for compound A, we have to keep in mind all of our 4 solvent requirements. Let's start with solvent P. At 20 degrees Celsius, 78 grams of compound A dissolves in 100 grams of solvent P. However, at 70 degrees, 125 grams of this compound dissolves in 100 grams of solvent P. Now, what is the requirement that we need from this solvent? It should have low solubility at low temperature. But what we see is it is almost 78% solubility, which is a high amount. And hence, we will not consider solvent P to crystallize out or recrystallize out compound A. Let's go to solvent Q. It has 15 grams of compound A dissolving in solvent Q per 100 grams of solvent Q at low temperature. Whereas at high temperature, the solubility has decreased. What do we want? We want high solubility at high temperature. And hence, because it is having a lower solubility at higher temperature, we will not consider this compound as well, this solvent as well. When you go to solvent R, it has low, very low solubility at low temperature, higher solubility. Now 15 grams of compound A dissolving in 100 grams of solvent R is not very high, but dramatically high if you look at these two numbers. So based on the two requirements, low solubility at low temperature, high solubility at high temperature, R has so far fulfilled the two requirements. But look at its boiling point. By the time we boil this solvent out, the molecule compound A would have degraded. We want a decent boiling point or a reasonable boiling point, which may be between 60 to 150 degrees Celsius. Now this may change a little bit, few degrees here and there, but this is the general rule of thumb. So this solvent is also out of question. Let's go to solvent S. Very, very low solubility at low temperature, low solubility at higher temperature also. Now this solubility is almost negligible. And even though it has a good solvent boiling point, the overall solubility at high temperature is not acceptable. And hence the solvent S would also not be considered as a very good recrystallizing solvent for compound A. When we go to solvent T, at low temperature, low solubility, and at high temperature, a high solubility. So the step 2 and 3 are achieved so far, and we are going to assume for PQRST, the solvent is not reacting with the solvent. Looking at the boiling point, it is also a good boiling point. So among the choices that we have been given, T is the best choice for, or the best solvent for recrystallization of compound A. For our compound benzoin, we chose ethanol for these very reasons. At low temperatures, the solubility of benzoin in ethanol is very low, but at high temperature, the solubility of benzoin in ethanol is high. And if you look at the boiling point of ethanol, which is 78 degrees Celsius, the solubility is also good and the boiling point is also decent. And hence ethanol is fulfilling all of these 4 requirements that your solvent must have for it to be a recrystallizing solvent.